Welcome. This is Melinda Barlow, CZT, Certified Tangle Teacher. And again, another lesson on reticulas and fragments. And the reticula we're using today is Huggins. And I've done it in a grid pattern. I started a few fragments in here. Here I did it in this kind of a wild, different shape. So I'm going to talk about how you can do. This is a typical grid, and this is just kind of an off-the-wall grid, because I think sometimes, or irregular Huggins. So I think that sometimes we just really need to do a grid, and I'm not so much of a grid girl. I like doing things a little less strict, and so I am going to get a tile, and I'm going to use a white one. Ooh, I'm so tempted to use a color, and but they say they can't see that well. Some of my students can't see that well on the color, so I stick to white to teach, and then I'll pick up another color. Here I have brown and white, and I'll teach you on white, and then I'm going to draw on a gray tile also, so we'll get that one out. So here we have our tile, and we're going to do Huggins in just a random so that you can see how you do Huggins. If you watched Tuesday's video, it was Cadence, and Cadence kind of gone wild. And we're going to do the same thing with Huggins. I'm going to take my pen. I'm using a Micron PN pen because I'm terrible. I'm going to show you. See all those pens? They're all 01s, and I have managed to squish the tip down in to where it's really hard to draw with. So, oh, I hate to admit this. There's one more. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I'm terrible. So I have to learn to be lighter handed, and I just find that the PN pen, I don't mess up as many. And there are times when I need the fine point, so I save those, and they're teaching me how to be a fine point. So let's start. We're going to do circles again for Huggins, and I'm going to do some of them close together and some of them far apart, and I'm just doing random again. So I have a random bunch of dots, and now we're going to connect them. And I find that when I do Huggins this way, I do the complete Huggins. So we're going to start, and I'm going to go around that Huggins and come down, and then around that one. And I'm going to do the same here, around, down, and around. So they kind of curve around. And then I'm going to make what I call a apple core. When I eat an apple, and I eat all around the outside edge, I get a little apple core. So this is the top, and this is the bottom of the apple core. So you can kind of see there is an apple right there. So now we're going to draw another apple core, but we're going to use part of this one as, so I'm going to rotate it. So this would be the top of the core. So here's where I've nibbled, and here's where I've nibbled, and I'm going to come all the way down there, and then I'm going to put the top. Now you say, oh, you've got one little dot there by itself. Well, we'll see what we can do. We can add another circle like right there, and then we can make, this was a really funny eaten, I don't know, but you can see the apple core. We've got one right here, and we just need one more dot, and we can make one. So I even add dots in after I've drawn. Here we have one, and remember we want them big spaces because we're going to put reticulas in there. We're going to put fragments in there. This is our reticula. So we're putting that, because this is the top, Now we're going to make the other curve. We have a half one here, so we could put another dot here. And then we have one more dot right out here, so let's look at this. We probably want to use, I'm just going to put a dot right here. And there we go. And it looks like we could do one right here. And we could do one right here. They could just really keep growing and growing, but that fills up that space really well. And again, I am not too fond of the, I don't do a really nice circle there. So let me come in and you can see I haven't, they're not really good. So on this one, I blacked them in completely. And on this one, that's just my preference. I could go in and I'm just going to really darken this up here. Let's see if I can be brave and not have to darken it in all the way. I'm gonna round it out and really give it some emphasis. It will take, I can take out those little areas that are not perfect for me. And I'm just going to darken those in, and I think that might work for me this time. So there we have them. Now, I am going to use, I don't know what, this is like a square area, so they're in the Reticula and Fragment book. You could get some ideas, or in lesson 7, there is an area where we could open up, and my suggestion is if you don't have this book, you want to buy it before you buy this book, but they're way good companion books. So we'll open that up, and we're just going to go flip through, and we're going to find, there it is. There are all sorts of fragments of tangles that I could do in here. But this book, I just kind of love this because I can flip through here and I can see what other people, what they've done and how it looks within a big area. So I can see that this fragment looks like this in this area. This fragment really goes wild and looks like that in that area. It just gives me another way to look at the fragments. And so I just have to just think, okay, what do I want to do in there? So what I did here is that I outlined it first and then did my white, did outline it in gray, kind of ordered. This one I started and I had drawn a couple of lines. Let me show you what I'm kind of getting off track here, and I apologize. I'm going to take my 01 pen, and I'm going to just go on the outside, echo the outside of the curve. So anywhere where it's a, can you see how I'm repeating that? So I want to go from here over, but on this one I want to start and go all the way around that circle and come down to here. Here I'm going to come on this side. And that's what I had made a error when I was drawing, and I went on the wrong side, and I just used that as to my advantage and did something different, because we know there's no mistake in Zentangle. But you can see that this is going to, an aura really gives us another look when we are putting a reticula in there. I'm sorry, putting a fragment in. You guys are going to be so confused on this. I'm just saying reticula and fragment backwards. This is the reticula, and we'll put a fragment in the center. But we're going to aura that shape, and I'm always going to go on the kind of, I would call the, I look at where the circle and how it's drawn, and that's the area I want to go. I'm just kind of repeating that shape. And you realize, you see that I'm doing all of these. Now, if I jump around, I will make the dreaded "there's no mistake" thing. And I'll have to use my imagination and come up with something. But there I have it all outlined. Totally different look than when it's not outlined. And now we can pick a fragment that we want to put in here. And I saw one that kind of was intriguing to me. Watch me not be able to find it. I'm going to tell you, when I find it, I'll tell you what page it's on. Oh, there it is. This is the one I'm going to do. I just think it's got some potential, and I'm going to change it just a little bit. So, because I've auraed it, so I'm just going to take, and I'm going to use my PN pen because I want a little bolder. So I'm going to just aura this line twice. I told you I was going to tell you what page it's on, and then my book shut. There are so many in this book. There it is. Page 31. And it's Arlene Roeder, CZT 17. Oh, excuse me. It's Reticula. She just used a grid Reticula 1, and FJ2 for the fragment is J2. And so we've just got those two lines, and then we're going to come back in and draw little circles up here. And then I'm going to do orbs down the center. So I start with my first one, and you kind of see they kind of overlap each other. And they're kind of like squished in there, and then I can come back and color in there. This one I've got to shade because it is just screaming to be shaded. So I'm going to shade right here. I'm just going to put a little graphite. Then I'm going to take my shading stump and I'm going to blend. But this one would be great colored. When I get this one done, I'm going to love it. I can see that it's just going to be fabulous. I love the reticula, the apple cores. I love the fragment. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and see what you can do with Huggins as a reticula, and then pick a fragment from either the Reticula and Fragment book or the Primer Volume 1 book, and just have a great time with them. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my blog on Inkidoodles.com webpage. I have a new webpage, and it has a blog section. It has a section for pictures. It has a section for the videos, so you can find the videos, and I'm just really excited about it. And the store where you can buy supplies, and that helps support this channel. And I so enjoy Zentangle, and all the supplies that it takes are very few to have a really good relaxing day. Oh, I said I was going to draw on the gray, and I didn't. Check out my blog to see the one done on the gray. Thanks again, and have a great day.